Shalom once again, my friends. Back to Hanok and the Epistle of Hanok, chapter 91. This goes to the end. Well, no, it goes to chapter 105. Then there's another fragment of the Book of Noach, chapters 106 and 107, and then finally the appendix to the Book of Hanok, just one chapter, 108. Might take a couple more videos to get through all this, so let's move on. Now, my son Methuselah, call to me all your brothers, and gather together to me all the sons of your mother, for the word, capital W, that's Yeshua. For the word calls me, and the Ruach is poured out upon me, that I might show you all matters that shall befall you forever. And therefore Methuselah went and summoned to him all his brothers, and assembled his relatives. And he spoke to all the children of righteousness, and said, Hear, you sons of Hanok, all the words of your father, and hear the voice of my mouth. For I urge you, and say unto you, Beloved, love uprightness, and walk in it, and do not draw near to uprightness with a double heart, and do not associate with those of a double heart, but walk in righteousness, my sons, and it shall guide you on good paths, and righteousness shall be your companion. For I know that violence must increase on the earth, and a great chastisement be executed on the earth, and all unrighteousness come to an end. Therefore it shall be cut off from its roots, and its whole structure be destroyed, and unrighteousness shall again be consummated on the earth, and all the deeds of unrighteousness and of violence and transgression shall prevail in a double amount. And when sin and unrighteousness and blasphemy and violence and all kinds of deeds increase, and apostasy and transgression and uncleanness increase, a great chastisement shall come from the Shamayim upon all these, and the Kodesh Adon will come forth with wrath and chastisement to execute judgment on earth. In those days violence shall be cut off from its roots, and the roots of unrighteousness together with deceit, and they shall be destroyed from under the Shamayim. And all the idols of the nations shall be abandoned, and the temples burned with fire, and they shall remove them from the whole earth, and they shall be cast into the judgment of fire, and shall perish in wrath and in grievous judgment forever. And the righteous shall arise from their sleep, and wisdom shall arise and be given unto them. And after that the roots of unrighteousness shall be cut off, and the sinners shall be destroyed by the sword, and the blasphemers destroyed in every place. And those who plan violence and those who commit blasphemy shall perish by the sword. And now I tell you, my sons, and show you the paths of righteousness and the paths of violence. Therefore I will show them to you again, that you may know what will come to pass. And now hear me, my sons, and walk in the paths of righteousness, and do not walk in the paths of violence, for all who walk in the paths of unrighteousness shall perish forever. Chapter 92. The book written by Hanok. Hanok indeed wrote this complete instruction of wisdom, praised of all men, and a judge of all the earth, for all my children who shall dwell on the earth, and for the generations to come who shall observe uprightness and peace. Let not your spirit be troubled on account of the times, For the Kodesh and Great One has appointed days for all matters. There's a sentence that can be repeated for us right now, today. Let not your spirit be troubled on account of the times, for the Kadosh and Great One has appointed days for all matters. And the righteous one shall arise from sleep, shall arise and walk in paths of righteousness, and all his way and conversation shall be in eternal goodness and favor. He will show favor to the righteous, and give him eternal uprightness, and he will give him power, so that he shall be in goodness and righteousness, and he shall walk in eternal light. And sin shall perish in darkness forever, and shall be seen no more from that day to everlasting. Chapter 93. And after that, Hanok both gave and began to recount from the books. And Hanok said, concerning the children of righteousness, and concerning the elect of the world, and concerning the plant of uprightness, I will speak these matters. Therefore I, Hanok, will declare unto you, my sons, according to that which appeared to me in the vision of the Shamayim, and which I have known through the word of the Kodesh messengers, and have learned from the tablets of the Shamayim. And Hanok began to recount from the books, and said, I was born the 7th in the 1st week, while judgment and righteousness still endured. And after me there shall arise in the 2nd week great wickedness, and deceit shall have sprung up, and in it there shall be the first end, and in it a man shall be saved, and after it is ended, unrighteousness shall grow up, and a law shall be made for the sinners. And after that, in the 3rd week, at its close, a man shall be elected as the plant of righteous judgment, and his posterity shall become the plant of righteousness for everlasting. And after that, in the 4th week, at its close, visions of the Kodesh and righteous shall be seen, and a law for all generations, and an enclosure that shall be made for them. And after that, in the 5th week, at its close, the house of esteem and dominion shall be built forever. And after that, in the 6th week, all who live in it shall be blinded, and the hearts of all of them shall wickedly forsake wisdom. And in it a man shall ascend, and at its close the house of dominion shall be burnt with fire, and the whole race of the chosen root shall be dispersed. And after that, in the 7th week, shall an apostate generation arise, and its deeds shall be many, and all its deeds shall be apostate. And at its close shall be elected the elect righteous of the eternal plant of righteousness, to receive 7-fold instruction concerning all his creation. For who is there of all the children of men that is able to hear the voice of the Kadosh One without being troubled? And who can think his thoughts? And who is there that can look upon all the works of the Shamayim? And how should there be one who could look upon the Shamayim, and who is there that could understand the matters of the Shamayim, and see a being or a spirit, and could tell of it, or ascend, and see all their ends, and think them, or do like them? And who is there of all men that could know what is the breadth and the length of the earth, and to whom has been shown the measure of all of them? Or is there anyone who could discern the length of the Shamayim? And how great is its height, and upon what it is founded? And how great is the number of the stars, and where all the lights rest? Chapter 94. And now I say unto you, my sons, love righteousness and walk in it, for the paths of righteousness are worth our acceptance. But the paths of unrighteousness shall suddenly be destroyed and vanish. And to certain men of a generation shall the paths of violence and of death be revealed, and they shall hold themselves far from them, and shall not follow them. And now I say unto you, the righteous, do not walk in the paths of wickedness, nor in the paths of death, and do not draw near to them, lest you be destroyed. But seek and choose for yourselves righteousness and an elect life, and walk in the paths of peace, and you shall live and prosper. And hold fast my words in the thoughts of your hearts, and do not allow them to be erased from your hearts. For I know that sinners will tempt men to evilly entreat wisdom, so that no place may be found for her, and no manner of temptation may diminish. Woe to those who build unrighteousness and oppression, and lay deceit as a foundation, for they shall be suddenly overthrown, and they shall have no peace. Woe to those who build their houses with sin, for from all their foundations they shall be overthrown, and by the sword they shall fall. And those who acquire gold and silver in judgment shall suddenly perish. Woe to you, you rich, for you have trusted in your riches, and by your riches you shall stray, because you have not remembered the Most High in the days of your riches. You have committed blasphemy and unrighteousness, and have become ready for the day of slaughter, and the day of darkness, and the day of the great judgment. Thus I speak and declare unto you, he who has created you will overthrow you, and for your fall there shall be no compassion, and your Creator will rejoice at your destruction. And your righteous ones in those days shall be a rebuke to the sinners and the wicked. Chapter 95. Oh, that my eyes were a cloud of waters, that I might weep over you, and pour down my tears as a cloud of waters, so that I might rest from my trouble of heart. Who has permitted you to practice reproaches and wickedness? And so judgment shall overtake you, sinners. Do not fear the sinners, you righteous. For again, Yahweh will deliver them into your hands, that you may execute judgment upon them according to your desires. Woe to you who speak out curses which cannot be reversed. Healing shall therefore be far from you because of your sins. Woe to you who reward your neighbor with evil, for you shall be rewarded according to your works. Woe to you, lying witnesses, and to those who weigh out injustice, for suddenly you shall perish. Woe to you, sinners, for you persecute the righteous, for you shall be delivered up and persecuted because of injustice, and its yoke shall be heavy upon you. Chapter 96. Be hopeful, you righteous, for suddenly the sinners shall perish before you, and you shall have authority over them according to your desires. And in the day of the tribulation of the sinners, your children shall arise, and rise as eagles, and higher than the vultures will be your nest. And you shall ascend and enter the crevices of the earth, and the clefts of the rock, forever as rabbits before the unrighteous, and the demons shall sigh because of you and weep. Therefore, fear not, you that have suffered, for healing shall be your portion, and a bright light shall enlighten you, and the voice of rest you shall hear from the Shamayim. Woe unto you, you sinners, for your riches make you appear like the righteous, but your hearts convict you of being sinners, and this fact shall be a witness against you for a remembrance of evil deeds. Woe to you who devour the finest of the wheat, and drink wine in large bowls, and tread the lowly under foot with your might. Woe to you who drink water from every fountain, for suddenly you shall be consumed and wither away, because you have forsaken the fountain of Chai. Woe to you who work unrighteousness and deceit and blasphemy. It shall be a remembrance against you for evil. Woe to you, you mighty, who with might oppress the righteous, for the day of your destruction is coming. In those days, many and good days shall come to the righteous in the day of your judgment. Chapter 97. Believe, you righteous, that the sinners will become a shame and perish in the day of unrighteousness. Be it known unto you that the Most High is mindful of your destruction, and the messengers of the Shamayim rejoice over your destruction. What you will do, you sinners? And where will you flee on that day of judgment when you hear the voice of the prayer of the righteous? Therefore you shall be like them, against whom this word shall be a witness. You have been companions of sinners. And in those days the prayer of the righteous shall reach unto Yahweh, and for you the days of your judgment shall come. And all the words of your unrighteousness shall be read out before the great Kadosh one, and your faces shall be covered with shame, and he will reject every work which is grounded on unrighteousness. Woe to you, you sinners who live on the mid-ocean and on the dry land, whose remembrance is evil against you. Woe to you who acquire silver and gold in unrighteousness and say, we have become rich with riches and have possessions and have acquired all we have desired. And now let us do what we schemed, for we have gathered silver, and the farmers are many in our houses, and our granaries are full as with water. Therefore, like water, your lies shall flow away, for your riches shall not endure, but speedily depart from you, for you have acquired it in all unrighteousness, and you shall be given over to a great curse. Chapter 98. And now I swear unto you, to the wise and to the foolish, for you shall have many experiences on the earth, for you men shall put on more adornments than a woman, and more colored garments than a maiden, in royalty and in splendor, and in power, and in silver, and in gold, and in purple, and in splendor, and in food. They shall be poured out as water. Therefore they shall be lacking in instruction and wisdom, and they shall perish thereby together with their possessions, and with all their esteem and their splendor, and in shame and in slaughter, and in great destitution, their spirits shall be cast into the furnace of fire. I have sworn unto you, you sinners, as a mountain has not become a slave, and a hill does not become the handmaid of a woman, even so sin has not been sent upon the earth, but man of himself has created it, and under a great curse they who commit it shall fall. That statement, I think, bears repeating. Sin has not been sent upon the earth, but man of himself has created it. And barrenness has not been given to the woman, but on account of the deeds of her own hands she dies without children. I have sworn unto you, you sinners, by the Kodesh Great One, that all your evil deeds are revealed in the Shamayim, and that none of your deeds of oppression are covered and hidden. And do not think in your spirit, nor say in your heart that you do not know, and that you do not see that every sin is recorded in the Shamayim every day in the presence of the Most High. From here on, you know that all your oppression with which you oppress is written down every day till the day of your judgment. Woe to you, you fools, for through your folly you shall perish, and you transgress against the wise, and so goodness shall not be your portion. And now know that you are prepared for the day of destruction. Therefore do not hope to live, you sinners, but you shall depart and die. For you know no ransom, for you are prepared for the day of the great judgment, for the day of tribulation and great shame for your spirits. Woe to you, you obstinate of heart, who work wickedness and eat blood. From where have you good to eat and to drink and be filled? From all the good which Yahweh the Most High has placed in abundance on the earth, therefore you shall have no peace. Woe to you who love the deeds of unrighteousness. Why do you hope for good to happen unto yourselves? Know that you shall be delivered into the hands of the righteous, and they shall cut off your necks and slay you, and have no compassion on you. Woe to you who rejoice in the tribulation of the righteous, for no grave shall be dug for you. Woe to you who bring to naught the words of the righteous, for you shall have no hope of chai. Woe to you who write down lying and wicked words, for they write down their lies, that men may hear them and act wickedly towards their neighbor. Therefore they shall have no peace, but die a sudden death. Woe to you who work wickedness and exult in lying and exalt them. You shall perish, and no baruk chai shall be yours. Woe to them who pervert the words of uprightness and transgress the eternal law and transform themselves into what they were not, into sinners. They shall be trodden underfoot upon the earth. In those days prepare, you righteous, to raise your prayers as a remembrance and place them as a witness before the messengers, that they may place the sin of the sinners for a remembrance before the Most High. In those days the nations shall be stirred up, and the clans of the nations shall rise on the day of destruction. And in those days the destitute shall go forth and carry off their children, and they shall abandon them, so that their children shall perish through them. Also they shall abandon their nursing infants, and not return to them, and shall have no pity on their beloved ones. And again I swear to you, you sinners, that sin is prepared for a day of unceasing bloodshed, and they who worship stones and graven images of gold and silver and wood and clay, and those who worship impure spirits and demons, and all kinds of idols not according to knowledge, shall get no manner of help from them. And they shall become wicked because of the wickedness of their hearts, and their eyes shall be blinded through the fear of their hearts, and through visions in their dreams. Through these they shall become wicked and fearful, for they shall have wrought all their work in a lie, and shall have worshipped a stone. Therefore in an instant shall they perish. But in those days, Baruch, are all they who accept the words of wisdom and understand them and observe the ways of the Most High and walk in the paths and walk in the path of his righteousness and do not become wicked with the unrighteous, for they shall be saved. Woe to you who spread evil to your neighbors, for you shall be slain in gay Hinnom. Woe to you who make deceitful and false measures, and who cause bitterness on the earth, for thereby they shall be utterly consumed. Woe to you who build your houses through the grievous toil of others, and all their building materials are the bricks and stones of sin. I tell you, you shall have no peace. Woe to them who reject the measure and eternal heritage of their fathers, and whose beings follow after idols, for they shall have no rest. Woe to them who work unrighteousness and help oppression, and slay their neighbors until the day of the great judgment. For he shall cast down your esteem and bring affliction on your hearts, and shall arouse his fierce indignation and destroy you all with the sword, and all the Kodesh and righteous shall remember your sins. I'm going to stop there, and we'll pick up next time with chapter 100. Shalom.